a prayer which all of you are very well aware. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishna te Namaha. As Swami Sarvasthananji introduced, the spiritual practices that are emphasized in the Ramakrishna order are very unique, but at the same time, it is something which has been practiced from time immemorial. Sri Ramakrishna used sometimes to talk about these three things, three essentials that the Vaishnava scriptures enjoin. Name Ruchi, Jibe Doya, and Vaishnava Seva. Name Ruchi, a taste for the name of the divine name. Jibe Doya, that is compassion to beings. And Vaishnava Seva, then serving the devotees of the Lord. These are the basic tenets of the Vaishnava religion, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had propagated. Sri Ramakrishna also added to that it is not mere compassion to beings, but to look upon everyone and serve them as veritable manifestations of the divine. That was a twist that Sri Ramakrishna gave to this formula. But of them all, Sri Ramakrishna emphasized the first one, that is to take the name of the Lord, to chant the name of the divine, and to achieve perfection. Every individual, in Sanskrit, the term is jiva, not only humans, but also other beings. Every individual is a storehouse of energy. That's why Swami Vivekananda very famously spoke about it in the introduction to the Raja Yoga. Each soul is potentially divine. That is, there is a lot of potentiality within everyone. And this storehouse of energy, in order for us to replenish it, we receive from outside an impulse, and then we also give out that energy to the others. For example, breathing. We receive air from outside, breathe in, and then we give out the air. It may be carbon dioxide, but it goes out. So there is this continuous flow of receiving and giving. This Sri Krishna terms in the Bhagavad Gita as yajna. We receive from the universe and we cannot withhold it. We must give back. Those who hold back, who do not give back, he calls them as stena eva saha. They are thieves. They are robbing of the others. So whatever we receive, we will have to give back to the universe. In ordinary lives, in ordinary state of affairs in our lives, we confine ourselves to certain time, certain space. We have confined ourselves to this time now, and we are also confined to this space within this room. But when we can push all our energies, if we can collect all our energies and divert it to realize our true potentiality, then what happens is that we become aware of our infinite nature. That I am in Dvaita, that I am a child of the divine. I will become aware when I can divert all my energies within to love the divine. So if I can start loving the divine by chanting the name of the divine, by taking the name of the divine, by performing the Japa, and wanting the presence of divine in our own lives. This wanting the presence of the divine is very, very important. When we can divert all our energies to that, then there is infinite possibility. Swami Vivekananda used to call it as the science of infinite possibilities. There is infinite possibilities within every one of us. That will happen only when we can expand our consciousness. This manifestation is possible when we can expand the space within to which we confine ourselves, me and mine. When it expands, thee and thine, the whole universe is yours. When we can expand it, then this manifestation becomes full in our own lives. I will just go to a little bit of about the origin of the universe according to the Sankhya philosophy. According to the Sankhya philosophy, this whole universe was in an unmanifest state. And then the first manifestation took place in the form of space or ether. In Sanskrit, it is called as Akasha. It's called a Tattva or Akasha Tattva, space. And from out of that comes air, Vayu. And then the rest of the elements follow. Now, this element of space, the Akasha Tattva, is the first emanate or the first outcome of the nature. And sound belongs to this ether or space. That is why we transfer all waves, sound waves, through ether. Swami Vivekananda had a detailed discussion with Nikola Tesla, about whom you're all aware of. So Swamiji had this great discussion with him. And if he had the money in those days, Nikola Tesla would have transferred even light through space. That is, we need not have had any of these wires or cables, but he had that possibilities. He knew that, and that conversation with Swami Vivekananda brought about that change in his outlook. So Akasha Tattva, the first emanate of the whole of the creation, is the element of Akasha or space. Very difficult to translate that word Akasha. It also means light, Kasha or Prakasha, and that which expands and makes other things follow it or come out of it. And this single element is present in sound. So when we are using a word, when we are uttering a sound, what is happening is there is that one element of Akasha is being reflected. And then when it goes to the next element, Vayu, that is air, then the forms also appear. First, there is the word or the sound, and then comes forms. So when we practice Japa or the chanting of the name of the divine, if we are only concentrating or if we are only chanting the name without bringing the form or without bringing the idea behind that sound, it will not manifest itself completely. So therefore, when I say Henry or any other name, then the person that is named also is included, not just the name, but also the person named is included. That's why Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Nam Nami Abhed. The name and the person named are non-different. They are non-different. Therefore, with the name, there must be the bhava, or there must be the representation. There must be the feeling of the person who is being named also. While we are practicing japa, this singular element called the name includes also the form. Name and form, both of these are hidden in the name when we practice japa. That is to say, sound vibration plus the feeling associated with it must be combined together. Many a times we chant mantras, we take the name of the Lord without having that feeling behind it. And that is why we feel very blank. We feel that it is tasteless. I myself even now feel it. So it is nothing wrong that way. But when along with the sound or the name, the person who is being named or the ideal that is being represented combines, then the joy is much, much more. So sound, vibration plus feeling brings about the manifestation of that being within ourselves. Our success in spiritual life is possible upon bringing the harmony of the feelings and of the sound vibration. Many experiments have been done to represent this. I will give you two examples. One, which I heard from Swami Atmeshanandaji in Bangalore, he had mentioned it, and he had seen this from a very great violinist in Mysore. And this violinist said that the sound represents a particular deity, the music represents a particular deity. So he wanted to experiment. And therefore, what did he do? He had the microphone, a very good microphone, and he kept a speaker, a loudspeaker, and in front of it, he spread some rice powder, very fine rice powder. And then he started playing this tune, raga, like a Hamsadhvani raga. As he went on playing this Hamsadhvani raga, this tune, very intently, for several hours, he went on playing this very intently. As he played very intently, you could see that some formation was happening on the rice powder. And when the raga or this sound vibration became perfect, one could see the form of Saraswati over there. This is an experiment which was done. So that's why all Indian ragas are representing a divine personality. And another one which I heard, it was on BBC. I was very fond of listening to BBC radio when I was young. And this I heard an interview with the famous Shehnai musician. His name was Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan was interviewed in Varanasi. He lived in Varanasi, and he was very devoted to Lord Shiva there. As a young boy, he was instructed in music by his uncle. His uncle was a great musician, and so he instructed him in music. And this young boy, at that age, he must have been 10 or 11. He had to practice music for 8 hours a day. A little boy, just imagine. 8 hours a day he used to practice. And sometimes his uncle would put him inside a room, lock it from outside, and he would say, keep on practicing. I don't want you to stop this music. And he says, and then he instructed him, look here, as you play your music, as you practice your music, slowly and slowly you will start experiencing some certain things, seeing certain things. But beware, do not mention about it to anyone. Whatever you experience, do not mention it to anyone. Being such a young boy, Bismillah Khan went on playing the different tunes, ragas. And he says, one day I was so absorbed in playing my instrument. I cannot remember whether it was Shehnai or any other instrument. He was playing this instrument and he was completely immersed in that raga for several hours. And as he did so, in front of him appeared a form of the Divine Mother Saraswati. And he said he was so excited. He knew who Mother Saraswati is, the goddess of learning and the goddess of music as well. He was so excited that he opened the door, ran out to his uncle, and then said to him, Uncle, I saw her, I saw her. So his uncle, instead of asking him any further question, gave him a slap on his cheek. And he said, I told you not to say anything about what you experience. And here you are being very excited about it. Many more realizations will come to you when you practice your music to its perfection. So therefore, do not talk about it to anyone. Do not reveal what you experience to anyone, not even to your guru, to me. And so then the person who was interviewing, he was taken aback by this remark of his, and he did not ask any further questions. But it is said that behind all sounds, there is the form. That is why I said, Sri Ramakrishna said that the name or the sound symbol and the person who is named are non-different. Coming back to this subject of Japa, what is Japa? Sri Ramakrishna says, he defines Japa as continuous repetition repetition of the sound symbols in a silent environment with faith, with faith, with belief that this will reveal its secrets to me. Everyone needs some symbols. All of us need some symbol. So it may be sound symbol or it may be a form symbol. So it may be a sound or a form. And mantra has both of these. It has a sound symbol, sound vibration, as well as a form symbol or a form vibration. And when properly practiced, when done with utmost faith, Shraddha, then it transforms your inner being. This vibrations spreads throughout our body and mind, and it produces very positive influences in our life. I will give you another example or experiment which was conducted many years ago in the then Soviet Union. They experimented this on the prisoners. So they brought in two sets of plants. One set of plant were given to the not so criminal offenders who were asked to look after these plants with great care and love and using positive affirmations. You are growing very well. I love you, etc., etc. And another set of plants were given to those criminals who were hardcore. And so they were told, look here, we are giving you this, and this must be looked after. But while you provide the same manure and other things, water, etc., while you do that, you should not use affirmative words or sentences, but you should use abusive sentences towards them. You are useless. You are, you are, you are so on, so on and so forth. I don't want to use those words. So this was done. Climatic conditions were the same. All the water was the same. The fertilizers were the same, but the affirmations were different. One was positive affirmation and the other was negative affirmations. So with this experiment, they proved that those who used positive affirmations, those plants which received positive affirmations started growing very well, very happy, giving joy to whoever they saw. And the other ones, they were growing, but they were not very happy. They were wilted sometimes. Sometimes they would die or dry away. So this proves that sound can have effects upon our psyche, not only human psyche, but also the others. I mean, if you have pets, you know that very, very well. See, if you are very kind towards the pets, they will become so dear to you. But if you are not kind, then the same pets can become violent towards you and towards the others. Japa is done with mantra, as every one of you in this room are aware of a mantra. And mantra can be classified very broadly into two types. One is known as the Udbodhaka mantras. That means one which awakens the inner consciousness. So there are certain mantras which, when uttered by people who whose ground is already ready, immediately those mantras will awaken in them a great spirit. For example, as sannyasins, we monks, we are given some mantras like Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Ideally, if we have practiced spiritual disciplines before we became monks, then as soon as the Guru gives us this mantra, Aham Brahmasmi utter, immediately I should be feeling that I am Brahman. That is, my inner being gets awakened very quickly. So it happens in some people, it happens in many people. Like in the case of Sri Shankaracharya, it is said that as soon as he was given the Gayatri mantra, which most of you are aware of, as soon as when he was a little boy, as soon as he was given the Gayatri mantra immediately illumined his heart, and he understood the meaning of the Gayatri mantra, and he became enlightened by that mantra. And the other one, the kind of mantras which we all know about or we all use, are mantras known as the Suchaka mantra. That means that which indicates about an object or indicates about a divine being. In olden days, if they had to go to a battle, what they would do was they would they play the kettle drums. From afar, people or the soldiers would know that it is time for them to go and wage the war or the battle, enter into the battlefield. So in the same way, here also there are these Suchaka mantras or Vachaka mantras, which will tell you, okay, this mantra represents this divine being or this divine form. And chanting those mantras or uttering those mantras, then slowly and slowly one can have the realization or one can have the vision of those deities. So japa or chanting the name is a very easy tool, so to say, very easier tools to attain to the divine being that is within every one of us. The divine is not somewhere there in the cloud nine. The divine is within our own selves. In fact, when I first learned the Durga Puja Paddhati and all that, I was very intrigued by the mantras that were there. So many mantras that would slowly and slowly they will arouse some of the great feelings that is within one's own self. So Sputita mantra it is called. So they rouse that. So every part of our body, according to the tantras, every minute part of our body has a deity, has a divine being present over there. And when you chant those mantras, those divine beings will manifest in themselves. So that is a different subject altogether. But in order for japa or to chant the divine name very effectively, we need certain qualifications. Nothing happens without qualifications. So what are those qualifications? The first comes honesty. I must be honest to myself and say that I want to reach the goal. I must be very honest. If I don't want to reach the goal and just I want to chant the mantra to gain some powers, it's of no use. So I must have that honesty. And secondly, one-pointedness. I must be devoted to my ideal and I must have that one-pointedness. I have taken this mantra and I am not going to be swerved by any other mantras or any other goals. Just I want to chant the name of that is given to me, and I must want to be one pointed in whatever I do. And of course, one should have faith in the efficacy of the mantra. One must have nishtha, steadfastness. We see many people doing window shopping for mantras. They go to different places. I know one lady came and said, I have received mantra in 8 places, Swami. So can I receive mantra in your Ramakrishna order? I said, thank you. We don't sell the mantras over here. You can go and ask for it somewhere. Yeah, people do that. They go to different gurus and try because they do not have faith in what they have received. If there is no steadfast faith, if there is no steadfastness in their searching, then it is of no use at all. And of course, industriousness. Once you know that you have accepted the mantra, you must put forth all of your efforts into it. You must be very industrious. You must go forward, onward, and onward. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that when you chant the name of the divine with single-minded devotion to the divine, then you can see God's form and realize Him. And he gave an example. Suppose there is a piece of timber sunk in the river Ganges, Ganga, and you cannot see that. It is far away over there, but it is fastened with a chain to the jetty. And what you do is you proceed link by link, holding on to the chain, dive into the water, and then you follow the chain and then reach that piece of wood and then make use of that. Similarly, by repeating God's name slowly, you become absorbed in Him. You hold on to the link and you reach to the goal, and finally you will realize Him. These are Sri Ramakrishna's words. There will be many obstacles in the path of while practicing japa. But the most important thing is not to lose patience. Don't be impatient. When you have not achieved a goal, many a times we have devotees asking these questions. Swami, I have received initiation 30 years ago, and still nothing has happened to me in my life. A very common accusation. Nothing has happened to me in my life. So why should I practice this japa at all? This success in japa does not depend upon time. It depends upon the intensity with which you practice japa. And moreover, there is a lot of garbage that we have imbibed from past lives. A lot of garbage is there which we have imbibed from our past lives. It is hidden in the unconscious mind. And now it has to be slowly and slowly taken out, dredged out, as you do in the river here. You dredge out all those things. And it takes a lot of time. But you must have that faith that this will definitely help me to overcome all these hidden garbage, or to throw out all the hidden garbage from within ourselves. So one example that is very famously given is that suppose there is a very huge jar full of brackish water, dirty water, and you are asked to empty the contents or to fill the jar with clean water, what do? You keep on pouring the pure water. It will take quite some time for you to pour the water, but while you do that, all that brackish water will come out. It will spill out. Then you will have the pure water. Similarly, when you practice japa regularly for, for a long period of time, slowly and slowly, all this brackish water, all the dirtiness within ourselves, it will slowly come out. It will spill out. And then you will find yourself as pure. You will find yourself as full of joy. That's what happens to us. One of the mistakes that we do in our spiritual life is to fight with our mind. Instead of removing the water, we will break the pot itself. That's no use. So we should not fight with our mind. Make a friend of your mind. That's why the scriptures say, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho bandhaya vishayasaktam muktye nirvishayam smritam. Manushyanam, of human beings, the mind is the cause of both bondage as well as liberation. If you become very much attached to the objects of the senses, if you are keeping on holding on to things that do not really matter, things that do not give you any real joy, everlasting joy, what happens? You will become bound to it. You will get caught in the mire, as it were. But if you can release yourself, if you want to release yourself, you need to give up that holding on to the objects of the senses. Karanam bandhaya vishayasaktam. If you hold on to that, then it will bind you. Muktye nirvishayam smritam. That means if you can release yourself, then nirvishaya, you will not have that vishaya. This term vishaya in Sanskrit has got another meaning. Visha means poison. In the objects of the senses, there is poison. Poison in the sense that they will vitiate you. They will bring some joy, but it will bring along with it a great amount of suffering as well. So we need to be very, very careful when I enjoy a good meal, for example. If I become very much attached to it, I will have diabetes. I will have all other health issues. There is no doubt about that. So there I should have a limited desire. That's what he says. So japa, if continuously done, it purifies the body and it purifies the mind as well. And when you have purity within, it brings stability in your life. Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. This stability or this harmony with your mind, with your body is called as yoga. Yoga is nothing but bringing this harmony within one's own self. And for that, one must have constant remembrance. Do this japa constantly. Sri Krishna again says in the Gita, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dradavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Kirtayantah satatam. If you can remember, kirtayantah means here, remember me, my name again and again, or chant my name again and again. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Yatantascha dridhavrata, with firm conviction. If I can go forward, if I can make all my efforts to go towards the goal. And namasyantascha mam bhaktya, with reverence to all beings, with reverence to everyone. as manifestations, treating them as manifestations of the divine. Nitya Yukta Upasate. A person worships the divine in this spirit, then he will achieve to the goal. So, the mantra, Sri Ramakrishna says, mantra is the subtle body of a devata or of the divine. Mantra is the subtle body. See, therefore, we need to treat it with great reverence and devotion. When you love somebody, then you will not hurt that person physically or mentally. So mantra must be chanted or uh, uh, must be protected in such a manner that you have utmost respect towards it. Holy Mother Sharda Devi says she used to she used to practice this japa 100,000 times a day. 100,000 times a day. If you asked her how she did it, her whole day was filled with the chanting of the name of the divine. Of course, she used to wake up very early and would practice the mantra japa. When a devotee asked, Mother, what is the need for you to do the japa? He said, many of my disciples, they receive initiation from me, but they do not practice. So I have to sit and do japa for all of them. See what a wonderful guru you have there. She used to do japa, remembering all of them. But then she tells, mind can be steadied if one repeats the Lord's name 15 to 20,000 times a day. So from 100,000, she has come down to 15,000. That's a great hope for all of us. 15 to 20,000. Of course, it is not that easy. One should keep on practicing with devotion and with love. See, once you develop an extraordinary love for something, you will not give it up. If you love something or somebody, you will not give it up. So here also, if you love the mantra or if you love the name of the divine, you will not forget it. It will keep on doing. It is called as ajapa japa. Even without making any effort, all the time the japa is going on. When you wake up suddenly in the night, you will see that the japa is going on. This many people experience this ajapa japa. That mantra is going on. One corner of your mind, it is always going on and on and on. So we must treat this, the name of the divine, with love, with utmost affection. When you call your child with great love and affection, see what is the response that you receive. When you call the child when you are angry, you see the same name you call when you are angry, the response will be different naturally. Similarly, when you do your japa with great love, with great affection, then that japa becomes very enjoyable and it also brings about great transformation within oneself. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that you should not let your mind be scattered. In order for the spiritual practice to become successful, to be effective, you should not let your mind be scattered. And he used to give the example of mustard seeds. You take a lump of mustard seeds and you throw it, or if it falls from your hand, how difficult it is to gather all of them. It's very, very hard for you to. In the same way, if we let our mind be scattered, it's very difficult for us to bring it back. Therefore, we should take care that our mind is not scattered here and there with limited attention to other things. If we can take the name of the Lord or if we practice our japa, it becomes very easy. And this japa culminates into meditation, that is dhyana. It can culminate into meditation. You can practice dhyana or meditation separately. In fact, to be very honest, most of us do not practice meditation in the strict sense of the term dhyana. Dhyana is a very important word over there. What we are doing is pratyahara. We are trying to withdraw our our attention from the other things, and we are trying a little bit to concentrate upon something, dharana. The next one is dharana. Dhyana is, or meditation, real meditation is when my mind gets merged in the object about which I am meditating. It completely gets merged over there. Then only it becomes total real meditation. Meditation has become a very fashionable word in today. But the meditation, real meditation, will happen only when your mind gets absorbed completely and is one pointed. It becomes one pointed. A Zen master once gave a stick to all of his disciples, and he told them, well, I am giving you all of these sticks. Can you break them? Of course, every one of them could break it, split it into pieces. And then he said he took some of the sticks, tied them with a rope, and then gave it to them and said, now try to break this. They could not break it because it was all collected, one pointed. In the same manner, if we can gather all our energies completely together and then focus it on the object of meditation, then a great strength or a great power will rise within ourselves. And of course, for that, we require detachment. That is the rope with which we tie the mind. Detachment is the rope. We should be able to do that. Detachment is a very good thing. My guru, Swami Atmeshanandaji, used to um, used to give this example. Three or four friends, they went out to the pub one day. Then they had a little more than what was required. And then they came and they said, oh, there is a boat over there. So let us row the boat. Let us go for a ride. It was dark. And so they all sat in the boat and started rowing. They went on rowing, rowing, rowing. Throughout the night, they were rowing. And in the morning, when they were a little sober, they found out that they were where they started. What did they do? They had not lifted the anchor. That is what we need to do. We have to lift the anchor. We must become a bit detached. Once we become detached, then we can sail into this this ocean of consciousness. We can go forward and onward. I will, with your permission, Maharaj, I will read a little bit from this wonderful book. If you have not read this book, kindly read this book, Meditation and Spiritual Life. I'm sure most of you would have read this, or if you have known this. There he writes about the power of the divine name. If in the beginning of spiritual life, you need not bother about real meditation. Do japa well and dwell on your Ishtadevata, your chosen deity. In due course, japa will develop into dhyana. which means unbroken thought on the theme for meditation, like the unbroken current or flow of oil from one cup to another. Through japa, the divine spirit will become more and more real than the world. It's very important. Now, when we are all starting our spiritual life or when we are leading our spiritual life, the world holds more attraction towards us. But when through japa, you go deeper and deeper within yourself, the attraction of the world becomes less and less. And only then will real dhyana become possible. Do the first thing first, and then the next step will come by itself. You cannot disassociate completely. So, but keep on doing both of them. The world is also there. On the other hand, the japa also goes hand in hand. Start doing japa in your own way, of course, according to the instructions of your guru. By tuning oneself to the audible repetition of Om, one may gradually make it more silent and come in touch with what is called as the Shabda Brahman of the Indian rishis, or the music of the spheres of the ancient Pythagorean philosophers of Greece. Repeat the harmonious sound and know that it is a symbol. That's what I started with. It is a symbol, a manifestation of the Supreme Spirit who is infinite presence, love, and bliss. See, this must be emphasized in our life, that God is within me as well as outside of me, and that I love the divine. I worship God not out of fear of God, but out of love towards the divine. By tuning your own radio set properly, you come in touch with the cosmic vibrations, which will bring you in contact with the cosmic mind. And through that cosmic spirit, which is present everywhere and is the soul of your soul and the soul of all souls. By all means, continue your japa, says. The holy Shakti mantra an aspirant receives has a tremendous power of removing obstacles and awakening the spiritual consciousness. See, if the mantra is transferred to you from a tradition which has arisen from a great soul, for example, in the Ramakrishna tradition, Sri Ramakrishna gave the mantra to Ma Sharda. He gave the mantra to other disciples, others of his disciples, and thus there is a constant flow of that Shakti or that divine power throughout. As you get water from into your house from, from the main water source, in the same way, this so this power of the divine is flowing through the Guru, and you cannot but be affected by it. This reality, this really is the power of the divine mother of the universe. Call her Devi or Kali, manifest in this age as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Sometimes it is very helpful if the aspirant touches one of the higher centers of his consciousness, the head, heart, etc., with his rosary or with his palm while doing japa. Yeah, I myself have been benefited by this instruction of the Swami. When suddenly, when your mind is wandering here or there, if you have a rosary or if you are doing japa with your fingers, you touch your heart or you touch your head, suddenly you do feel a kind of connection with the divine. Feeling the center physically makes it easier for him to fix his consciousness there. The holy sound gives a sort of support to the mind. When there is any great trouble, one should try to be a little calm and introspective. Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali, he used to say, instruct his disciples, how should you meditate or where should you meditate? Mone, bone, pone. See, where do you meditate? Mone. Meditate him in the recesses of your heart, mind. Or if it is very difficult, bone. Go into solitude. Bon means forest or a bush. There you go. That is a solid place of solitude. That's why your retreats are held over here in the center every now and then. Give up all other thoughts. Just come, compose, and then meditate or think of the divine, Mone, Bone, or Kone. Even if that is not possible, go to a corner in your house. This is one thing which I have experienced in some of our devotees' houses, which they say that they have reserved a spot for themselves in their house. They would not allow anybody to sit in that spot, or at least the chair where they sit, or the seat on which they sit, they would not share it with anybody else. It may sound a little bit selfish, but it is essential because these tanmatras, the vibrations are very important. My vibrations need not be your vibration, and so on. So it is very important that we reserve a corner or a place of our own in our house and use that only for meditation. Swami Atmeshanandaji, one of our one of our presidents, I think he has visited here. Right? Yeah. So he once, one of our monks said, Maharaj, if I am feeling very tired, then can I lie down and do my meditation? So he was in the habit of pausing before answering anything. He said, yes, you will have good deep meditation. That is called sleep. That is what you will have. So do not use your bed for for meditating. Of course, when you're traveling, when you're in a hotel or somewhere, you don't have a choice. Then you have to make use of it. But a bed is meant for lying down or sleeping. So do not make use of that. So that is why bone kone means a corner or a place, a particular place. So why allow yourself to be swept off your feet when any trouble arises? The moment you let go the chain, that example that I gave, you have to go and reach to the boat, and it is tied with a chain. Far away is the boat, and you have to get into the boat. And if you give up your hold on the chain, then you will fall into the water. But therefore, you need to hold on to that. So do not give up that chain. Japa is one of the most important forms of spiritual help. It takes us nearer and nearer to the soul of our souls. In our case, Japa is the only thing we can really do. And it is out of courtesy that we sometimes give it the name meditation. There can be no question of doing anything higher like real meditation unless we prepare ourselves first through ethical culture, performance of our duty, japa, prayers, regular readings from the holy books, and trying to dwell on their meanings as much as possible. That is another thing, trying to dwell on their meaning. You must try to dwell on their meaning and try to imbibe the spirit of the mantra and then practice the japa. Thank you very much. I think, yeah, done. 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions. Yes, please.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. I'm Ravi, and thank you for your thoughts. Very enlightening and engaging. I do try and practice my japa and meditation um, um, as much as I can because I do enjoy it and I feel. But the challenge I have in the modern world, especially now, my duty in work, which is very busy, and duty as a parent, and also the duty in the household. And it's always a conflict with time. There's not enough time in the day to do things. So that's the challenge I had during my time meditation. During the pandemic time was fine, but I had a lot of
You
time.
had a lot of time. Thanks to pandemic.
That's the joy of it. But now I'm seeing that it's like being like taken away from me, but as my work gets busier and busier, and my duty as a parent gets busier and busier.
Yeah.
So obviously I don't want to discard my duty, because duty is important.
Very important. Yes.
So I'm just trying to navigate, find ways around it to try and balance it too. Presumably, there will come a time, I presume, when I retire, that I have more time. But at this moment in time, what's the time that be able to balance, to get more out of Japan meditation? So I just wonder, I don't know if you can relate to what I'm saying.
Yeah, very much, very much, very much.
Advice you would have.
No, this is something which is very common to everyone, that we don't have time. While it is true that to get time for serious spiritual practices is difficult, yet one has to make certain choices. For example, you wake up around 6 o'clock. Just I am giving you a time. If you are waking up at 6 o'clock and you need to get ready by 6:30 or 7 and go to your work or start working. So instead of waking at 6, why can't we wake a little early and make a little time? We can. It is possible. We have to have priorities in our life. So all that boils down to this one thing called priorities. What is my real priority? If God does not become a priority in my life, I will not find time. If God becomes a priority in my life, I will find time somehow. Yes, I may not have that much of time that as I would like to have, but I definitely can reserve some time or take away some time in my life in order to practice this japa or meditation. It is possible, not that it is impossible. That is where you should make a friend of your mind. See, we need to make a friend of our mind and say, look, my dear mind, help me by waking up half an hour earlier than what I do right now. Help me uh, uh, in uh, in taking out some time during lunchtime, for example. I will just take out some time. I know a few friends, a few devotees who uh, have decided, or who do go out during the lunchtime. They go to the park and sit there and they do their japa and come back. They do that. So it is the priorities that one has in life. I can very well sympathize with you. I can very well agree what you are saying. But if you can love God as the summum bonum, as the be all and end all of your life, then you will definitely be able to find some time. There is no doubt about that. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Follow for question number 27. I tried to do the advice that I had given just tried to make it a bit earlier. When I try to do that, I don't have the freshness physically of the mind. So I do wake up and I do, but sometimes it feels like it's a mechanically I'm doing. So does that add values to
It will definitely. It may be mechanical in the beginning, or it may be mechanical for quite some time, but later your whole body clock will behave in such a manner that it will be looking forward for that time to sit and meditate.
Some online question.
Yes, sure.
Follow a routine in the spiritual life.
Uh-huh.
If the intensity of japa
Mm.
is strong in multiple short bursts throughout the day, so you get good motivation.
Yeah.
Short bursts throughout the day. So how important is it to follow the routine?
See, there must be a fixed routine. There is no doubt about that. A fixed routine is a must. Sri Ramakrishna used to give the example of a peacock and the opium. You must have all read it, A peacock was once, a holy man once fed a peacock with a small pill of opium. In those days, opium was very common in India. So he fed that to the peacock. And exactly at the same time, the peacock would appear in front of his cottage and would seek for that. Similarly, our mind also is like that peacock. It will definitely listen to, or it will listen to you at the right time. And therefore, routine is very, very important. Coming to the other second part of the question, you will have some outbursts of energy to practice spiritual disciplines at times. Make good use of it. Make good use of it. There is no doubt, but it will not remain forever. Therefore, it is best that you concentrate upon the routine. If you have decided 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, I'm just saying very conservatively, anything less than 10 minutes is up. Swami Bhavyanandaji told us once, this was many, many years ago, Bhavyanandaji was talking to us, a few of our monastics, and he was saying, many people come and ask me, well, is it enough if we practice meditation for 7 minutes a day or 8 minutes a day? I tell them that if you are trying to practice any less than 10 minutes, just do not do it, I would say.
Another question.
Yes.
Sri Ramakrishna and Thakur is talking in the bush, and what he's saying is inverted commas. Nishtha leads to bhakti. Bhakti, when matured, becomes bhava.
Yes.
Bhava, when concentrated, becomes mahabhava.
Yes.
And last of all is prema. Prema is like a cord. By prema, God is bound to the devotee, can no longer run away.
Yes.
So the question is, Nishtha leads to bhakti, that's fine.
Mhm.
Bhakti leads to bhava,
Yeah.
bhava to mahabhava and prema. So what is bhava and mahabhava?
Bhava is being absorbed. For example, when you love somebody, you will be overcome with love. That is called, I'm just summarizing it, simplifying it rather, and say that if you love something or somebody, you will become absorbed in that person. That is called bhava. Then mahabhava is where you will almost become identified with the object of love. That is called as mahabhava. And Swami Vivekananda gives the example of Radha and Krishna. Radha was absorbed in Mahabhava, so much so that she used to think that she herself is Sri Krishna. There was this great Sufi saint, Rabia. She writes in one of the poems, and she says that the beloved came and knocked at the door of the lover, and the lover answered from within, "Who is there?" And they said, "I am thy beloved, thy beloved." And she says, "Go away." He goes away. He thinks about it. Why did she ask me to go away? He comes back after some time, and then he knocks, and she asks, "Who is it?" "I, your beloved, have come." She says, "Go away." He goes and meditates on her words for a very long time. After some time, he comes, and then he knocks, and she asks, "Who is there?" He says, "I, who is thou, has come." And the door opens. That is Mahabhava. Yes.
When the devotee is saying,
Uh-huh.
why I always cry while listening to spiritual songs or going to temple?
That is good. When Sri Ramakrishna says that while listening to spiritual songs, or listening to the name of God, if tears flow in your eyes, it shows that you are loving the divine. Real love has developed within yourself. That's a very good positive feeling. So do not try to stem it. Do not try to disturb it. Let it come. But you don't have to make a show of it outside. That is very important. Yes.
To ask about the routine which we talked about. So when you're, at home and doing the consistency for the routine, but when you're traveling, how do we incorporate this routine
Yeah.
during the travel?
No, instead of, for example, while traveling, if you can devote a little bit of time instead of giving a lot of time. For example, if you are meditating for half an hour every day, instead of that, you will have to keep moving naturally. If you can do your japa or meditation for, say, 10 minutes, that is perfectly all right. And it need not be just in the morning or in the evening. Any time during the day, you spend a little time of that. That is quite very good. Yeah, but remembrance is very, very important. Regularity is important. Yeah.
Devotee is saying, Swami is saying something like, life is a struggle.
Mhm.
Maybe Swami
Vivekananda says.
life is a struggle, and forces at work apparently counter to our higher aspirations.
Mhm.
So, do we expect struggle, isn't it?
Struggle is life. Swami Vivekananda very clearly says that struggle is life. I mean, even if you take Darwin's theory, we have all evolved because of the struggle from the lower lives, lower forms of life. Naturally, struggle is inevitable. One should uh, not go back or sit and think that the struggle will end. No, the more you struggle, the more. See, that is where nishtha, that is one pointedness, and that holding on to what you have taken up is very, very important. If you have that shraddha, the faith that what I am doing is right, if there is honesty in what you are doing, and that you have faith that God is going to help me overcome these struggles, then the struggle, instead of becoming a deterrent to you, it will become a great source of inspiration. See, it becomes like all the athletics in the Olympics. The more of struggles that they face, the more energy comes to them, and they try to overcome them. But again, that faith in the divine, that God is behind me. If I don't feel that God is within me, at least let me think that God is behind me and He is pushing me forward.
Job relatively okay going.
Mhm.
Should it be a cause of worry? Like there is no struggle, so
No. That is to say that if you have a comfortable job, that means God has been very gracious towards you. But no, struggle will be there. Struggle will be there. And the more you struggle, the more strength will come to you from within if you are devoted to the divine. Yes. Yes, Mata. Thank you very much. I think we will conclude. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmu.